Hello and welcome back to Twinstrology. I'm Marla Kelly and this is your energy report for the Spring Equinox 2018. We have a lot to talk about today, guys. There's some big energy coming in. But before I get started, let me just remind you that if you would like a personal reading with me, my website is twinstrology.com. And just a reminder that I do have about a 6-week waiting list for readings. So if you're someone that's looking to have a reading done tomorrow, then I'm probably not going to be able to accommodate you. And also, I'm trying out a new format this week. I'm looking to do things a little bit different with my readings, and I haven't quite decided exactly what I'm going to do. But this month, what I'm trying out is having my astrology report separate from the tarot readings. And I'm hoping that will make it easier for people to view and easier for me to do them. And I might even just do one tarot reading a month instead of doing a tarot reading every time. I'm just not sure, but I'm needing to make more time in my life for other things, just find some kind of balance in my own life. So this reading will just be the astrology report. And it's covering the Spring Equinox, the Pisces New Moon, Jupiter Retrograde, and Mercury Retrograde. I did debate on whether I should do separate videos, but all of these things are functioning together, and so I really didn't feel it would be good to break them up too much. So this video is probably still going to be long because I have so much to talk about, but I'm going to try to be quick. And then look for the tarot reading to come out separately. And also, just to let you guys know, I have a second YouTube channel, which is Eclipse Astrology and Tarot. And that channel is geared towards everyone. It's geared towards the collective, where this channel is geared more towards twin flames and soulmates and people trying to form a divine partnership. So if you like my stuff and you have friends that might be interested, but they're not twin flames or they're not interested in this stuff, you might want to direct them to my channel over there, and they may like those videos. I keep that channel going because, well, we know that there's a big wave of energy coming. More people are going to be waking up, and so we're all here to help the collective. And so that's where I hope to reach a little bit of everybody, or I try to gear it for, people that are maybe newly awakening, keep it really simple, and just guide people the best I can. So if that interests you, then check it out. Okay, first thing I want to talk about is Jupiter going retrograde. So all the planets have been direct from January 2nd, when Uranus went direct, until March 8th, when Jupiter went retrograde. And that was a really long time to have all the planets direct. And even though it felt like, or it feels like, we're not really accomplishing much because we're not doing a lot of active things, we really are accomplishing a lot. It's like we're laying some massive groundwork here for what's coming. Most of it has to do with our inner work. But man, have we been doing some inner work. And that that new moon, black moon, solar eclipse that we had in February last month was huge. I didn't do a video 2 weeks ago for the Virgo full moon. I was taking the time to really work with the powerful energy of that eclipse, and I was able to clear so much, and I hope that you guys took advantage of that energy too. But anyways, so we've been doing a lot of clearing, and now Jupiter is the first planet to go retrograde. And I think we felt it. The energy was really strong. And a lot of the energy has to do with relationships. And I predicted back when Jupiter went into Scorpio that that was really going to be the time where karmic relationships would break down. And this retrograde period, I feel, is going to be the push to really start affecting those relationships, and we can feel it in the energy that things are not going good for relationships. That's just what I'll say. There's a lot of arguments going on. We have Mars trine Uranus right now, and so people's tempers are flaring, and there's a little bit of a deception going on with some relationships, or there's a feeling of being stuck and not being able to move, and perhaps being strangled a little bit by the relationship that you're in. And this energy came out as well in my rebirth of the Divine Masculine, that this would be the time period where karmic relationships would really be under a lot of stress and strain, and some of them were not going to be continuing on. We've also been doing a lot of shadow work and mirroring, of course, with Jupiter and Scorpio. Jupiter's been making a sextile to Pluto as well, the ruler of Scorpio. And with these, eclipses, it's just been a lot of shadow integration, soul retrieval integration, and all of that is actually building up to this energy that's coming in at the spring equinox, this huge influx of light. And we need that shadow integration in order for us to hold the light that we're needing to right now. But the interesting thing with Jupiter is that he's stationed retrograde on 23 degrees Scorpio. And 2 years ago in 2016, Mars had a retrograde, and Mars only goes retrograde approximately every other year. So he didn't go retrograde last year. And he stationed on 23 degrees Scorpio. If you guys recall, it was a really intense retrograde. That is why I remembered it so clearly. I did a couple videos on it. And he went into Sagittarius, he went retrograde, and he went back to 23 degrees Scorpio. Then he went direct and he met up with Saturn. And Saturn and Mars started a new cycle. And that is what I posted a video about. And he was stationed on that degree in July and August of 2016. So a lot of you are dealing with things that happened or that had some foundation, some start in 2016. Now Jupiter stations on that same degree, so it could be bringing up some of the same issues. So think back to what was going on with you. And for some of you, it might have to do with a relationship. Remember, Scorpio is the sign of intimate relationships. The other interesting thing here is that Mars and Saturn are getting ready to start a new cycle. And they are just coming into a conjunction. And so this is going to be another interesting aspect, a very helpful aspect, but I'm not going to talk about that this week because they'll be coming into a tighter conjunction in a few weeks. So we're going to focus on something else, but the Jupiter stationing, remember, he's a big planet. It takes a long time for him to station and change direction. So he's been on that degree for a while. And coupled with the Mars-Uranus energy, it's been kind of intense for our relationships, not just romantic relationships, but all relationships. And a lot of you are dealing with that mirroring aspect. So that should be settling down now as we're we move into the energy of the new moon and Jupiter gets going in his retrograde. So the new moon in Pisces is on March 17th at 9:12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The new moon in Pisces is 3 days before the equinox. And as I said in the beginning, there's really no way to separate the energy of this new moon with the spring equinox. They both represent new beginning energy. Okay, that's the most important thing. What I want to talk about with a lot of the astrology that's happening right now is the Sabian Cymbals. And I use them quite a bit, so many of you know what they are, but let me just explain it quickly for those that don't. The Sabian Cymbals are channeled messages, and there's one for each degree of the zodiac. And they were channeled by a psychic named Elsie Wheeler. And so we use these little channeled messages to give us a little bit more information about each degree. This is the book I use. It's called 360 Degrees of Wisdom by Linda Hill. I just want to give her credit because some of the descriptions of the Sabians that I'm going to be talking about are quotes from her book. You can see, like, it doesn't have a back cover or anything. This is like a well-loved book. I use it all the time. Okay, so the new moon is at 26 degrees and 53 minutes of Pisces, and it's on the Sabian symbol. A harvest moon illuminates the sky. And we had Chiron on that Sabian symbol recently. I talked about it, I believe, at the Black Moon eclipse. So we know that this new beginning is a time for us to get some kind of reward. It's representing an achievement and also a new cycle coming in. 2653 is very close to the end of the zodiac. It's just a couple, the 29th degree is the end. Then the sun and the moon are going to be conjunct Chiron, who's at 28 degrees Pisces. The Sabian symbol for Chiron is light breaking into many colors as it passes through a prism. So Chiron represents our multidimensionality. That's how I see Chiron, among other things. Chiron has a lot of meanings, but that is what I want to focus on with this new moon. And the Sabian is showing that there's an influx of higher vibrational energies. Of course, the sun and the moon are lights. And technically, the moon does not have any lights of its own, but we still consider it a light. And the Sabian refers to light. There's also been some reports that there's going to be some solar flares around this time. That is not my area of expertise, so I can't say for sure, but I would not be surprised. I had a vision a few weeks ago around the time of the eclipse of the energy, and there is a lot of activation energy coming through the sun, and it's coming from the central sun through our sun. And so again, we have the inference of light. And I know some other people have been talking about that as well, the energy coming from the sun. And this Sabian symbol also talks about healing and being able to see something in a new way, which is really important because overall in the energy, I'm feeling that a lot. Like our perceptions about things are going to change with these transits, these energies. And a prism is also a triangle. And triangles are threes. Threes are trinities. And the number 3 has a lot to do with sacred union because you have the masculine, the feminine, and the third energy. Now, the sun and the moon are also going to be forming a semi-sextile to Uranus, who is at 27 degrees of Aries. And he's on the Sabian symbol. Through imagination, a lost opportunity is gained. This is an amazing Sabian symbol to have in play. And it's all about manifestation and being able to manifest through our thoughts. And it's Uranus, so you can expect that what you're manifesting is going to come through very suddenly and very unexpectedly. Let me just say that one again. Through imagination, a lost opportunity is regained. So it's like you're getting a second chance at something. And just want to say that using your imagination, visualizing things, plays such an important role in manifestation. This Sabian also talks about how you're seeing things, your perceptions. Something that you thought was lost here is also being returned to you. So with these three, or four I should say, because the new moon is really the sun and the moon. Just this is telling us that we are going to be taking on a lot more light over the next few weeks. Now, since January, but especially throughout February, with that black moon, our light bodies have been getting activated. And some of you have been experiencing a lot of physical symptoms around your light bodies being activated and your DNA being activated. We're also still grounding a lot of energy, and we're being shifted now onto a 5D timeline. And that was also something that I saw in the vision that I was given. Letting go of the 3D timeline and shifting onto the 5D timeline. And I saw other people also connecting to the 5D grid and lighting up the grid. So it's really, really important that you guys rest. I've been stressing that for a few months, and I'm still stressing it. You have to put yourself first, because you are using vast amounts of energy right now to go through this energetic shift, as well as to ground your manifestations, to ground your unions, to make your transformation. So you need every ounce of your energy. And so do I, by the way. So I'm not around much, and I don't plan to be around, especially around the equinox. I'm really not available too much, because I have to honor myself as well in my own journey. And so do you. So please take this stuff seriously. And know that you are literally giving birth to your creations right now. I'm also being shown that we need to keep our energy very clear right now, because there is some darker energy around. And this is not something that I want to create fear around or have anybody worried about or to dwell on it too much. But I do want to make you aware that you want to keep your energy as clear as possible right now. Make sure that you're grounding yourself, clearing your energy, and shielding yourself, hopefully twice a day, maybe more. Sage yourself. Use crystals, okay, to keep your energy clear. And I really recommend salt baths and meditations. Some really, the best way, I think, to clear energy. And what the darker energy I feel is coming from is not everyone is going to do well with this shift that we're going through. Okay, a lot of you have been on the awakening path for a while and you're used to this, but if you haven't been, if you're still very much an ego, and we have this really big influence or influx rather of light coming in, waking people up, if they're not used to it, it could make them perhaps angry. Okay, so don't be drawn in to other people's dramas and negativity. Okay, that's why I'm suggesting that you go into hermit mode. You might want to stay off social media, for example, because you might have a lot of people around that time using social media platforms to vent their anger and frustration, or if you are being surrounded by very negative people, you got to set boundaries. You got to protect yourself. Get yourself out of there if you can, okay? So nothing that I want to cause worry or concern about, just that if you want to use this energy as the best possible way, then keep your field as clear as possible. So there's also a lot of other planets playing into this influx of light that's coming in, starting with this new moon. We have 9 planets and asteroids all around the 11 to 14 degree mark. And these are Neptune, the asteroid Amur, the asteroid Union, Venus, Mercury, Karma, Black Moon Lilith, and the North and South nodes are all going to be on those degrees. So what that means is all these planets, asteroids, and points are interacting with each other. It's a little bit of what I call a clusterfuck, excuse my language, but that's a lot of energy to be bouncing around. But I feel that it's very positive energy. We have 2 important patterns being formed by those bodies. One is a kite and the other one is a yod. So I feel like it's good news for twin flames, and it's representing, as I said, good karma or some kind of rewards coming in. Now, Venus at the time of the new moon is on probably the most important Sabian symbol for sacred unions. And of course, Venus is the planet of love. And she is on 13 Aries, a serpent coiling near a man and a woman. This Sabian has to do with Kundalini activations, the sexual energies, manifestation through the sexual energies, Tantra, and regeneration. And we also have Union, who's a few degrees before Venus. Union's on a flock of geese. This one is representing Aquarian ideals of brotherhood and spirit being liberated from matter, oneness, and the collective consciousness. Mercury, who's also in the conjunction with the other 2, is on an Indian weaving a blanket in the light of the setting sun. So this one talks about weaving, and I'm getting the impression of how we weave the threads of our life. Again, he's creating something which has to do with manifestation. And I feel like with Mercury being here, there's a chance of getting downloads or some kind of sudden communication. Or I should say with Mercury in aspect to all these other bodies. The North Node is on the Sabian symbol, a street pageant moving along a street packed with people, which talks about joy and celebration. Karma is on a very important Sabian as well. A vast panorama of sand and time is unfolding. The pyramids and sphinx in the glory rise before their... Let me try that again. A vast panorama of sand and time is unfolding. The pyramids and sphinx in their glory rise before the eye. This one I feel has to do with the Lion's Gate. And the Lion's Gate energy, even though it's not August, is very present in this energy because there's a lot of galactic energy being focused on the earth right now. Also has to do with ancient knowledge. And I also feel this one has to do with the good karma also being brought in. The South Node is on the Sabian symbol. 2 lovebirds sitting on a fence and singing happily. Obviously a good one for partnerships because it speaks about love, commitment, and joy. And no matter what kind of chaos is going on around them or around us, our higher selves are actually going to be singing in joy for the energy and the shift that's going to be happening. And there's a real sense of togetherness with that Sabian as well, being together with your twin or your soulmate, even though you may be physically separated. And that one may also infer that there might be some communication between you as well because they are singing or talking. So these planets as well are bringing in a big influx of supportive energy. That's all going to be about switching to the 5D vibration and awakening and heart opening. So then, as I mentioned, we have that Yod, and this has to do with Neptune is conjunct the asteroid Amor, which represents love in Pisces, making a sextile to Black Moon Lilith, and both of them are forming an in conjunction to the North Node. Remember, the North Node is our destiny. It represents our growth in this incarnation. And I feel this Yod has to do with healing the sexual energy of the divine feminine. This is something that I've been getting through a lot in personal readings. And I did a video about it a couple months ago, maybe. And it was called Divine Feminine, Open Your Heart. And this energy is coming up again very strongly. And it has to do with healing sexual abuse, sexual assault, sex shaming, denial and control of the female sexuality by the patriarchy, has to do with body image issues. Okay, so this could be current life issues or past life issues. It could be something big or something small. But everybody has some kind of issue around this that needs to be healed. And we have to be willing to look at this right now and forgive it so that we can fully embrace these parts of ourselves without shame and properly use our sexual energies. Don't forget that Venus is on that Sabian, a snake coiling near a man and a woman, which represent the sexual energies. So it's about healing that so we can use our sexual energies in the way of the goddess. And if we don't, then this is blocking our ability to fully manifest our desires, right? It's the sexual energies that are all about manifestation. So if we have a block somewhere, and it's really about a block towards opening our heart, then it's going to block our ability to manifest. And this is affecting both men and women. Okay, men also have aspects around this that they need to heal. They may have their own ideas of female sexuality. For example, it might be related to pornography. Men might also have been victims of abuse, or a lot of men have had issues or dealt with women that were improperly using their sexual energy. And this is being cleared now as well because it's also going to allow us to hold more of this incoming light. And I'm also being shown that it is going to help expand our consciousness and our psychic abilities and to, as I said, allow us to fully open our hearts especially within sexual situations, which is what we need for union with our twin. Because what makes sexuality sacred? Well, love. Love and an open heart. And if you're still carrying pain, wounds, fears around that energy, then you're not going to be able to fully embrace it and allow it to shine through you. So that takes us up to the equinox, which is on March 20th. And that officially happens at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, the equinox is when we have equal days and nights. So we have balance. It represents new beginnings, and it's the astrological new year. So Happy New Year. And the equinox is all about manifestation because it's the time of year where the sun goes over the Aries point. And the Aries point is the first degree of the zodiac. And the sun is, it's our light. It's who we are. It's our identity. There's nothing more important than the sun, because without the sun, we don't have life. The Sabian that is the Aries point is a woman arising out of the sea. A seal is embracing her. So it's like the sea is representing the collective consciousness, and a woman is manifesting herself from out of that energy of oneness. So the sun here every year represents us manifesting our reality. It's also associated with ascension and connecting with our galactic energy. So this also has to do with embodying more soul light. Now, as we go through this process, okay, it's the same energy from the new moon is continuing. It's that same high vibrational light energy. I already mentioned that some people might have a struggle with this. And like for everybody as this light comes in, it's going to be breaking down your ego. And some people might be facing some really difficult circumstances if they need to, as far as, getting their ego to break down. So you just have to love and trust through whatever situation you find yourself in. Some people will have something unexpected come up, something they, I already said that. Sorry. With the Mars-Uranus energy still going on, there'll be tensions. So anytime where our ego's breaking down and it's like we're losing a part of our identity, that can be really hard. And so I don't worry too much about you guys, but like I said, people that are just waking up, who aren't used to this kind of energy, you may have to watch out for them, be careful of them, or many of us will be dealing with something. I had something come up myself the other day, and it wasn't a huge deal, but I shed some tears, and then it didn't take long, 30 seconds, and I was like, okay, universe, well, if this is the way you want it to be, I guess it's the way it's going to go, and I accept it, and I trust it. Please lead me to the path that is the right path for me. So just keep those words in mind. The asteroid Union at the time of the equinox moves on to 13 Aries, the Sabian of a snake coiling near a man and a woman that relates to the sacred sexual energies, and is making an exact aspect by trine and sextile to the nodes. So with the asteroid Karma, it's also moving into a kite formation. So this is also going to be helping. It's that good karma that's coming in for us, and in helping us get into the vibration of union. And we think about union with our twin, of course, but I want you guys to also think about union as oneness, because I feel that's really what this energy coming in is about, being one with everybody. The North Node, when it makes the aspects to union and karma, has by this time shifted onto a new Sabian. And this Sabian is cherub-like. A human soul whispers into every receptive ear, seeking to manifest. Again, another powerful one, another one dealing about manifestation. And this one also dealing with a lowering of the veil, higher self-embodiment, messages from angels, and love, because we're talking about cherubs. And of course, again, manifestation. And the South Node moves on to a train entering a tunnel. So this one is like saying full steam ahead. When you're in a tunnel, there's nowhere you can go except forward, okay? So you're getting on a course, and that's it. Like there's no way to get off this train anymore. And last weekend I wrote an article, and I said at the end, the energy I was feeling coming up is that this love can no longer be denied. And that's again when I'm picking up with that Sabian of a train in a tunnel. It's like an unstoppable force now. There's no way to hide from it. It's a one-way ticket with no distractions, you know? So very, very positive energies. Like I said, a huge wave of light coming. But as we know from past experience, that when we go through these shifts in consciousness, it's not always fun and games, is it? Because the light coming in can trigger our shadow or other people's shadow. So be good to yourself, nurture yourself, consider hermit mode, meditate, and take care of your body. Okay, lastly, we have Mercury Retrograde coming up 2 days after the equinox on March 22nd. And he is stationing on 1654 Aries and going back to 447 Aries. He goes direct on April 15th and officially leaves his shadow on May 3rd. He started his shadow on March 8th, which is kind of interesting because that was the day that Jupiter went retrograde. So when Mercury is in Aries, it's generally a very fast-paced, quick Mercury. But at this time now, we're at a crossroads. This is a big, major shift, major crossroads in your life. And so we want to slow down right now. And having a Mercury retrograde now, even though some of you may be going, I don't really want it, it's actually very important so that you don't rush into anything that you don't want. And this energy of Mercury retrograde is going from the time of the equinox to the Aries new moon. It's also going to be retrograde during the Libra full moon, which will be the next moon coming up, the blue moon, that's on March 31st. And I'm being shown that this retrograde is going to help us move more towards surrender and unconditional love and help us let go of the past. Aries as a sign is about courage and action. Aries wants to be free and not dependent on anybody else. So with this retrograde, Mercury is going to be helping you break free of any limitations that are put on you by other people. And of course, the ruler of Aries is Mars. And Mars right now is in Capricorn, or actually just getting ready to shift into Capricorn as I record this. And as I mentioned, is going to be making a conjunction with Saturn. So at the time of Mercury retrograde in Aries, the ruler of the retrograde, Mars, is in Capricorn with Saturn. And Mars and Saturn are going to be in square to Mercury. So there's definitely a feeling of slowing down, don't rush things, and you're going to have patience. Even though, like, energetically, you're not going to want to slow down. And remember, we got the South Node going on that a train enters a tunnel. So I'm feeling like we want to push for things right now, but with the retrograde, it's not the right time. Going to have to find our patience. With Mars and Saturn being conjunct in Capricorn, as far as relationships go, I feel that there's going to be this feeling of the other person somehow holding you back, because it's like authority figures. You're feeling blocked by authority figures, and for some of you that's going to be dealing with relationship energy. We're also going to be looking at our ability to be vulnerable, and we're having to soften that Mars energy or that masculine energy. Think about Mars as always being prepared to do battle. You know, Mars walking around with his armor on and not wanting to compromise. Okay, but that energy is not really going to go with the other energy that's coming in. It's like we have to work on our Mars to soften our Mars energy so we can open our hearts again and take off the armor and break down our egos a little bit more. We're also going to be working a lot on forgiveness and having more understanding of what happened in the past so that you're able to let your guard down a little bit. That specifically, I feel, with your twin or your soulmate. You're through this time period, you're finding more compassion for them. You're finding more understanding. You're understanding why things are the way they are. Or if you're not understanding, at least you're surrendered and you're trusting in the universe. I feel a lot of it is going to be about overcoming the thoughts of separation. This energy is helping us move beyond that. The idea of separation is, it's what's keeping you separated. And it prevents you from fully opening up your heart, because when you feel separation, then you project judgment and you project your fears onto the other person, which creates a block. Where if you see there's no separation, see that you're always together, It helps you trust more. There was something I wanted to say that I was thinking about earlier. And my brain is fried. So anyways, letting down your guard a little bit. What I wanted to say was something along the lines of, the universe is not going to send you this feeling of love. It's not going to create this feeling of love within you, only to not have it manifest. Like, it doesn't matter if you're here as a twin flame or a soulmate. We're all here with the same purpose. And that is shifting the energy on planet Earth into a 5D vibration of love. And in order to do that, we have to feel love. We have to experience love. Now, do you think the universe would be so cruel to bring this feeling of love to you and then snatch it away? Never bring it to you? Or somehow trick you? The universe is not going to do that. If you feel like you're here on a mission to bring love to the earth, you will have love. You have to trust in that. And this energy is supporting you shifting into that mindset. And when you do, when you shift into that trust, that belief in the universe, that knowing that, yeah, I'm going to have love no matter what, then you're able to surrender. And the more you surrender, the more everything opens up for you. So also with Mercury retrograde, there might again be some chance of communication, because whenever we have Mercury retrograde, people from the past come back, or people that we haven't spoken to for a while come back. We feel like there could be some peace offerings coming through. Of course, besides your twin or soulmate, other people come back into your life because you need to heal things with them from the past. And we're becoming more authentic. Aries energy, again, represents new beginnings. And the Aries energy is strong. And Mercury goes direct on the day that we have a new moon in Aries. So it's all very positive energy for this new beginning that's being created. And all the planets are working together in our favor to bring this shift. So thank you so much, guys. Again, take care of yourself during this period, and enjoy this energy, and best of luck with your new beginning and your manifestations. I love you, and I will talk to you soon.